Hello everyone, this is Randall Standard. Sorry, I was checking a couple settings right there. Anyway, this is a real quick video I'm going to do. I'm in Cypress, Texas, close to Houston, and I have been doing a consortium, well, a commission rather, a residency at a local middle school, Salyards Middle School. And the challenge was for me to write a piece throughout the week and test it with the students every day. And first of all, the students have been doing great. So if you're a Salyards Middle School kid and watching, really good job. The reading sessions the last 2 mornings have gone great. And we've come up with this idea for a piece that started off being called Drums of War, but it's kind of evolved from that. So what I thought I'd do real quick, I finished the first draft of the piece yesterday. So on my screen, you should see finale. I hope this is working. But anyway, I just thought it'd be kind of neat for some of you to see kind of the editing process, and I'm going to just basically talk out loud as I'm going through it. So you might find this interesting, you might not find this interesting. If you don't, feel free to not watch. If you're not currently a subscriber, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can follow me when I do other stuff. I'm going to be kind of opening up my world of composition to the world this year. So expect a lot of videos about the creative process, about composing techniques, kind of the behind the scenes things, which also include business and things like that. For instance, I'll be recording an album later this year, which will be kind of neat. So again, hit that subscribe button if you're interested in composing or just interested in the music, or if you think I'm easy on the eyes, whatever the case may be. But anyway, so I'm working with finale right now, and what I'm doing is we finished the first draft and read it this morning with the kids. And I'm going through and just fixing some things. Mostly, I'll tell you, I'm very happy with the piece. But there's just a few dumb things, like, for instance, this note here in the bass clarinet, I really want that to be short. So I'm just going to start shortening these up. I'm using the selection tool to go in. I'm selecting that half beat and just deleting it, which will indicate, from a composer's perspective, it will indicate that that note should be shorter. So I'm just trying to communicate. Your job as a composer when you're writing something that's notation and not electronic is you want to communicate as clearly as possible to the performing ensemble so that they don't have to guess. You don't want them to have to guess what you were thinking or guess what should be going on. So I'm just copying that and putting it in all the bass voices. We'll listen to that real quick. Alright, so I know it's kind of hard to hear there, but that's closer to what I was intending, so I'm going to do the same thing through here. Again, I'm just using the selection tool to go through and delete. I am a big finale guy. I know there'll be a lot of my friends out there that might be using Sibelius or Dorco 3 or even MuseScore and Noteflight. And my thing is, so many people argue about the programs, which I think is just stupid because they're sitting there just, oh, this one's better, that one's better. You know what? Ultimately, whatever you want to use and whatever you're comfortable using and what suits your style best is what you should use. So let's see here. Let me listen on. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to want that to be short as well so that we're matching the style and that those longer quarter notes will stick out. By the way, one thing you'll notice as I move through this, I use a lot of keyboard shortcuts, so I'm able to navigate through finale very, very quickly. So if you have any questions about that, be sure to leave a comment below. I'll try to answer as many of them as I can when I have time, and that'll be fine. So you'll notice also I've got this in concert pitch right now because all of the instruments are in F minor or A flat major, depending on how you're looking at it, but this is F minor. And I do that because it's just easier for me. We can switch. I've got it hotkeyed where I can just switch it back and forth between this and now we've got it in transpose pitch. But I like to work in concert pitch just so I can do that. I'm not looking at questions right now, so if anybody's posted any questions, that will I'll have to answer those later. And right now I'm just going through and fixing dumb stuff. Like, for instance, here, this is bassoon, and I copied that from the trombone part. The trombones are doing a glissando, but obviously, bassoons can't do that, so I'm going to fix this real quick. And make it to where it is more like what a bassoon should be. The tool I just used, by the way, is called Retranscribe. It's really good, but honestly, I should have done that. You should copy your articulations and smart shapes that are connected to notes with the filter tool before doing that. So anyway, that's one thing I've fixed. Let's see here. There was something else back here when we were looking through this today. Oh, yeah. So last night, in my hurry to get the piece done, I wrote this part for the trumpet that was intended to be split, and it did not split. So I'm going to highlight that, push the number 1 on my keyboard, which should go, oh, excuse me, that's implode. I want to explode the music, that's number 2. So I'm going to be throwing it to 2 staves between trumpet 1 and 2, so I'll do that real quick. Use my filter, select Smart Shapes and Expressions, and throw this down here just so we look the same from part to part. I'm going to clean that up real quick. So I'm throwing it back to transcribe so that I can move things to where, like, when we print this, it will just look better, look a little cleaner. Let's also clean this up. I'm going to use the Align Dynamics tool. We're going to go the average distance, and that's just going to move those dynamics and things to where they're a little bit more in line with each other. All right, let's see. There was something through here I was wanting to fix. This can be a slow and tedious process like the editing part, but I will say that I think it's a part that a lot of younger composers especially don't do. They're usually so happy to have a piece done, which I totally understand because, I mean, I'm not that far removed from being a young composer myself. Yeah, like I left out tenor sax part here, so we're just going to pop that in. This editing process of going back through the piece, double-checking things. And we decided, I was actually talking to the director, Joe Glass, today, and we decided that this rhythm is probably not the best for his students, and I agree with that. Although, hang on, while I'm saying this, I want to add accents to these moments. These will be aired accents, and it's all tied together, but actually, let's not tie that together. That way we can get some good articulation into that, and it'll be a little bit more distinct. So yeah, let's see. We need to do something about this rhythm. Right now it sounds like this. And I think, honestly, for a younger player, it's going to be easier to just do those as grace notes. So I'm just going to erase that using my MIDI keyboard, which is off screen right now. And we're going to add a note there. I'm just going to erase that because it's just faster than trying to insert things. Oops, it would help to put the right note in. We're going to add accents to those, and then, of course, grace notes should be slurred. We'll add the Smart Shape tool and just pop that in. And why did that not accent? Oh, we put the accent on the small note because that's so awesome. All right, let's see. There we go. Much better. So now in the playback, it won't really sound the same, but in real acoustic music, it will. And I think I'm actually going to give the horns a break here and do a divisi, so that some of the less experienced players can just be more successful. And because of that, we're going to throw the second altos down an octave to match that so that we have the sound of those powerful octaves coming through. Let's see how that sounds. And I think I'm actually going to add the tenor sax to that to beef it up just a little bit. Let's see here. So we are in, we're in transcribe pitch. Let's see the const pitch. I may throw the euphoniums in on that too. Yeah, I think we're going to throw the euphoniums in. Just, again, I want that part to really speak out, and we've got plenty of that F coming through on the bass voices and in the trumpets. So it's not essential for us to have that. Although, on second thought, I don't know. Yeah, I think we'll keep that. I think they'll be able to bring it through just fine. All right, let's see how that sounds. Now, of course, because there's that C there and there's the D flat here, there will be some kind of clash. But, dissonance isn't always a bad thing in music, and in this case, I think it's going to sound just fine. Let's see here. Next thing I need to fix. It looks like there's some articulations that didn't quite make it over here. So I'm just going to copy my smart shapes and articulations so that I don't have to go through and put it in every single thing, because that's just time consuming. Let's see, where else is it missing? Are those the only spots? Well, yeah, and these are accented in the other parts, so we're going to turn these into accents. And it's into the phrase, so we want to get a good big accent to that. One thing, if you are a composer and you're watching this, be sure to be as consistent with your articulations as possible. I don't want the flutes by themselves on that, so we're just going to change it to that rhythmic part. See here. I don't know, I kind of liked that. Let me get it back to its original form. I think we'll add some, and I don't know why that's in octaves. Ah well, it was Divisi before. So we'll make this Divisi as well. Just pop that down an octave in addition. And that was dumb because I need to copy this into clarinet and oboe. And I need the oboe to be more like the clarinet part, so we will fix that. And again, some of this, it may look like I was a little sloppy on the first thing, and it wasn't really sloppy, but guys, sometimes you just have to get your ideas down as fast as you can while they're cooking. And I like to do that because, this step, I can always go back and fix things, but sometimes you just need to get that idea out of your brain as quickly as you can. All right, and yes, there will be some clash between that and I'm fixing these staccatos, which need to be accents, so we're all accented through the entire measure. It looks like we've got all that fixed. But there's going to be a little clash between like the clarinet and then the trumpet part down here, but I'm fine with that. It's again, with the dissonant nature of this piece, I think it will be fine. So I'm just going to leave it. And after all, it's my piece. So let's see here. Next thing we need to fix. Oh yeah, one thing we noticed today, or I noticed, is that we got to a major percussion section later in this, or percussion moment, and I had neglected to put in the bass drum. So again, this is one of those things you always catch on second go-arounds. And we need some more accents because this is a loud, loud, loud moment. And I'm not sure that tie came through there, so let's see if we can space this out a little bit and see if we can actually see this, because I'm not seeing the tie. There we go. And we need some more accents on the tom part so that we hit those like we're supposed to. More like I was envisioning, rather. Good. And right now, by the way, sound-wise, I'm using just the Smart Synth sounds that are included with Finale. However, there are some sounds that you can get, my favorite of which is a thing called Note Performer. I just don't use it while I'm writing because it has a little bit of latency with Finale, and I don't like that being behind. It kind of throws me off. Going back to this other percussion moment, because I generally speaking, where there's smoke, there's fire, and if I forgot accents in one spot, I probably forgot them in a similar spot. Now, again, most of you that are familiar with my music have probably seen things when they are finished. So, I hope this is kind of neat for you to see, behind the scenes where, we, as composers, we really have to go through and check things. And, for myself, I don't even try to get things perfect on the first draft because, to me, I want to see if the ideas work or not. And if they work, then I'll pursue them and clean them up. But if not, I'm just not going to waste my time on it. Okay, and I think we want to add in some chime stuff here. And yes, I realize I'm in the wrong octave, but I will fix that in a second. So accents to all of this, throw it up the octave, give it its dynamic, and move this over here, which this chimes thing I've got set to where on playback it changes the patch to chimes. So that's why that is like that. Although for Note Performer I'll have to change that again because Note Performer works a little bit differently. Yep, that's definitely better. And let's see. And I think I'd like a lead-in into this low brass. We have this big low brass melody that I call the Darth Vader moment. But I think I want a little bit of a lead-in to that, to where we'll have like bum bum bum. So we'll get that, and we'll throw that up there, move the dynamic back. Then we're going to copy this down for measures, make sure everything's in the right octave, copy it up here where it needs to be. That needs to be lower, and we're going to throw it in the bass clarinet and bassoon as well. Move this down so it doesn't look quite so janky. That one didn't really need it. So anyway, just, that's the process I'm kind of going through right now. If you want to hear this even better, let me change something real quick. I'm going to reassign the playback sounds, but before I do that, since we're listening to a chime part, I'm going to cheat a little bit for right now, and we're going to change this to chimes. Shh, don't tell anybody. So we're going to change that to chimes, which will solve this, although I'm going to erase that just for a second. I'll go back and add that back in after we are done listening to this. I'm going to remap these to Note Performer, which has, again, much, much higher quality sounds. It really almost sounds like a real band. Not quite, but it's, for the price, it's about the closest you're going to get, and for just sheer ease of use. Because basically I do that. If you'll see my score manager here, it's all set to Smart Music. I go up to MIDI audio, put reassign playback sounds. It will change everything to Note Performer. The only thing I'll really need to change here is, for some reason, it doesn't interpret the bass drum correctly. So it's set to kick drum. So I'm going to set that to bass drum, so we'll have an actual bass drum sound going on. It'll still be on the same place as the score, but it'll actually sound like a bass drum instead of what it was going to sound like. So here is, with Note Performer, a little bit of this piece. I hope you enjoy it. So that gives you an idea. I'm going to undo a lot of that so that I can, well, at least undo the last few things I did, like the Note Performer change and a couple other things. Okay, is it going to change or what? There we go. And go back to that spot. And I'll reassign those in a second. It's no big deal. Let's see, where was that section I was just at? Okay, so all the way back to having chimes and doing all that. So that will save me a lot of time. And I've still got a lot of things I've got to fix. I've got some redundant dynamics I need to get rid of. I've got some articulations I need to fix. But the piece is really coming together. Oh, hang on. Sorry, that's just bugging me. I need to fix this slur. So anyway, you know what? That doesn't even need a slur. That needs an accent. So let's see, where else have I done the dumb thing? Okay, yeah, tenor sax can't slide. Sorry. I just want to make sure that these are as correct as possible. So since I'm catching them now, best to do them now. I actually live by that philosophy, what I just said when I said don't do the dumb thing. That's kind of like my motto to myself. One of the things is, like, if you're thinking about something, just do it right then so you don't forget. So don't do the dumb thing. Anyway, I hope you found this informative. We'll be premiering the whole piece soon this week, and it's just been an exciting week. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're a Finale user, maybe you got a couple tips or tricks, or if you're just a young composer, maybe you saw a few things you're like, I should think about that. Anyway, please hit the subscribe button, follow me on social media, look for new stuff coming out. Got a really exciting premiere coming up in 3 weeks with my piece Stonewall, which will be being premiered in Orlando. So I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about it. So excited I can't even speak. Anyway, have a great day and thanks for tuning in, and peace, love, and music. And now if I can figure out how to turn this thing off.